You may not know Azealia Banks. You may not have any idea who she is. She's a music artist. She has been doing a bunch of controversial stuff for many years now. From all the top of my head, I remember she boiled her cat or something of that variety. She posted images and videos of her boiling her cat. And I believe it was 2016 where she said there was witchcraft going on or something of that variety or effect. I'm not exactly sure about everything she's done, but she has been having controversial takes over and over and over again, just being ornery and ridiculous and loud and violent and vitriolic. That is what she's been doing. And she is a prolific supporter of Donald Trump. Many people don't know that. I have a cold right now. She is a prolific supporter of Donald Trump. That has been a thing that she has been very vocal about, very widespread and knowledgeable. And she has chimed in finally about her opinion on the Epstein files. Now, if you don't know what's going on with the Epstein files currently, there's talks of Donald Trump releasing Ghislaine Maxwell, however you say her name, and how she is going to be able to walk free. And they recently had a private interview with her by the DOJ, who is Trump's private lawyer, who did a private interview when it should have been a public interview in front of Congress, because it's a lot of stuff that's going on. It's a disgusting amount of things that are happening. And when I get more updates about the situation with that, I'll make a video about that. But what I want to talk about right now is a specific tweet that shows moving the goalpost. And a lot of people are saying this is a one-off instance, this is the vocal minority, but I have seen this rhetoric just all over the internet with people defending Donald Trump, even if he is in the files. So I have heavily censored out a lot of the words because a lot of it is talking about Donald Trump and if he is in the files and what he did, particularly relating to people that are not of the same age as him. I had to be very specific about my wording so YouTube doesn't restrict this. So I'm going to be very specific and I'm going to use different words. So this is the tweet. It's from Azealia Banks. You can see up here. I'm going to move this down. I have this in my Photopea app. Photopea is a free alternative to Photoshop. So we have this here. So, okay, and Donald Trump presents blanking 14-year-old people of that variety really only became social taboo in the 1990s. So this is really interesting here. Hear me out. That first part is correct. It not in defense, and I'm not excusing Donald Trump. It's disgusting, it's weird, it's trifling. But she is correct that in the 1990s is when it became social taboo. Because before that, it was very common. Speak to your dad, speak to your grandpa, speak to them and speak to your grandmother and ask the common age where women got pregnant ask those people. And she's specifically correct about that. I cannot deny that. It's gross. It's nasty. It's strange. It was common. It was the social politics back then, but it was still gross. Because of the rise of the things such as the Me Too movement, things of that variety, we're now seeing how weird it was to do that thing back in the day. And she also pointed out that in France, the age of consent is 15, and the Virgin Islands is 13. And all over the world, there is a strange amount with the age of consent and how they treat people of that variety. That's how they operate. People not the same age categories are treated strange. That's how it works. So let's continue. My grandmother was born in 1927 and had her first child when she was 12. Congratulations. You are a victim. Or your grandmother was a victim. Great. I'm happy. Thank you for telling us your history of victimhood. That is amazing to let us know that. And that is strange and wacky to have a child that young. That's just odd. Just very odd. Teenage pregnancy only became frowned upon with the rise of Jerry Springer. And I also can be honest with the fact that I was old enough to choose. Okay, so she kind of goes crazy. You can read that yourself. You just read it yourself. She said she chose to seduce people that were older than her. It was a whole thing there. Crazy work. Crazy work to say that you have the same mindset that when you were 15 that you have now, or even saying that a 15-year-old even has that mindset. I definitely don't have the same mindset I was when I was 15. My sister doesn't. My mother doesn't have the same mindset she had when she was 15, 16, 17. You're still a kid. So to be quite rude with you, I think most people are still kids until they're about 24, 25, around that range. I think people don't have the full capacity because they're just learning how to be an adult. They're just learning how to be people. They're still learning. It takes so long to actually get to a stance and stay point to actually get a full, complete human. It takes a while. It takes a long time to get there. It's not some easy thing you can just do. It takes a minute. So let's continue. I really don't get why women are fronting like they weren't blanking 40-year-olds at a young age. So let's just roll back here. The crazy statement, and the way she phrased it was wacky and wild. I know a lot of men may comment and say, "Well, I know girls that were dating 40-year-olds when they were in high school. I would watch the guy walk, and people were so cool with that." That's because the guy was manipulating the young woman. I don't really know how to phrase that better than that. I don't really know how to phrase it better than that. The older man, who is a full grown man with money. I'm gonna regale you with a story. I remember when I was younger, a wee lad, one might say, in the infancy of my youth. And I recall when I was, I believe, the age of about 14 or 15 in high school, and I fancied a young lady. I was very excited. She was 15 and I was 15, and we were having a great time just talking. And she said, "Do you have a car?" Now, at the time, I did have a car, but I didn't want to have that be the entire through point why she found me interesting. I said, "No, I don't have a car." And she said, "Oh, well, I'm talking to a guy who has a car," thinking it was somebody in our classroom, something of that variety. I said to myself, "Well, okay, hold on. Who has a car in this classroom? What's going on?" And lo and behold, she said, "I will show you after school." So I see this grown man, very grown, just a man that is in the prime of his age, just full, all the body testosterone is in his body, fully ripped, hairy chest. I'm thinking, whoa, that's the biggest 15-year-old I've ever seen. Turns out he was not the same age as me. He was a few pegs higher than me. I was a little bit perplexed. She hopped in a car and said, "We're going to his house because he has a house." I would hope so. He looks like he has a 401k. This is insane. And the guy said, "Better luck next time, kid." And everybody thought that guy was so cool. That guy was a lame. That guy was lame. Lame man. I don't know how to phrase it better than that. Guy was lame. Got strange situations. And that was common. But it wasn't the younger, you know, girl doing that. It was the older guy. And people will say, "Well, they knew what they were doing. They were hot. They were fast. Put some clothes on. Your uncles are coming over." Statements like those. Statements like that. Statements where you say, "Why are you trying to seduce my husband?" 13-year-olds trying to do that stuff of that variety. It's so many things were so common back in the day. And it was, but it's still gross. It doesn't change the fact that it's gross. It doesn't change the fact that it's gross. So here goes the thing. I'm honestly not surprised or mad at Trump for getting some blank young thing. "Good night, USA forever." Now, if it was 10 years old, we have a problem. It's moving the goalposts, doing so many things, defending PDF files, doing so much in the post. It's so much. And this isn't the craziest part about the entire thing. There are truths in there. She said her grandmother was 12 when she had her first child. That was a very common thing back in the day because America and the world in totality has a history of that, just that in general. That's just a regular thing. I made a whole video, I made a 20-minute video about that. And there are people that are talking about that, but you don't defend it. You don't defend that. That's not something you defend. That's not something you defend. It's not a regular occurrence. You don't do that. It's insane to me. And it leads me to believe the only thing stopping certain people from doing horrifying evil actions is the law or the social norms. It's strange. Strange thing. For instance, one time I was 20. And one of my friends was 18. They had just turned 18. And I've been friends with this person ever since I was a junior and they were a freshman. And someone took a picture of me hanging out with the person that just turned 18. And they made a post about me and they said, "Look at him. He's 20-year-old hanging out with a 17-year-old. He's weird." And people lambasted me for that. This was 9 years ago. They lambasted me. They were saying, "Oh, he's ridiculous. He's weird. He's a strange guy." And we're both men, both guys. And I don't really know what was going on there. They just wanted to start some drama. And it was a small group of about 10 people that really hated me, wanted me to get on that. It was a strange thing that happened there. And I didn't understand that. But because the shift is going higher, one day it's going to be if a 25-year-old's hanging out with a 22-year-old is weird. Well, that's what it's going to be one day. It's going to get to that point because it keeps moving forward. And that's not to say, this isn't to say that it's a bad thing that stuff like that is happening. It is better to not Because if you're young, you should have the ability to have a childhood. That's fair. It's just a real thing you should be allowed to do. You shouldn't have to defend this nonsense. Don't defend Donald Trump for what he did. That's gross. It's weird. It's strange. It's an odd thing. But the social norms do shift. That is true as well. But she's a psycho. She's crazy for this. Craziest thing you could possibly ever say. It's not even brave to post this. It's lunacy and idiotic. Moving the goalposts from just a 3-year difference is crazy. It's just psychotic. Moving that goalpost is nuts. I've seen people defend her, is why I'm making this video now. I've seen people adamantly defend her, saying, well, she's right about all this stuff. And Donald Trump, he is the president. He became a president for a reason. He knows how to make deals, and those girls were fast. I'm grossed out. I'm grossed out. I'm really grossed out. I have very little faith in people. And it might just be the vocal minority, but I hope people are more sensible. I am criminally insane, and I have better reasoning than these people. It feels odd. It feels so odd. I'm your nigga night, be my Laurel low. Happy to try what you need. Your world, I love to live in it. I love the ride when you're free.